She wakes up at 5 in the morning. Again. The alarm hasn't even gone off yet, but her body is already drenched, the sheets twisted, her heart beating a little too fast for someone who was just lying still. She gets up, goes to the bathroom, looks at herself in the mirror for a second, and quickly looks away. She used to love that mirror. There was a time when she knew exactly what she would find there. Strong arms, a defined waist, legs that had shape and firmness from years of consistent training. She wasn't perfect, she never claimed to be, but she felt like herself. She felt like her body was hers, responding to her, obeying her, rewarding the discipline she put in every single day. But something changed, and the strangest, most confusing part of it all is that she hasn't stopped. She still trains. She still watches what she eats. She still shows up, even on the days she's exhausted, even on the days when the brain fog is so thick she can barely remember the name of the exercise she's been doing for years. She still shows up, and the body just doesn't respond the way it used to. The waist is softer now. The arms that used to feel firm have a new kind of looseness to them that no amount of tricep work seems to fix. The stomach, the one she spent years flattening, has taken on a roundness that feels foreign, like it belongs to someone else. She looks at photos from 3 years ago and wonders, what happened? What am I doing wrong? And that question, what am I doing wrong, might be the cruelest part of all. Because the answer, as it turns out, is probably nothing. Let's talk about what's actually happening inside the female body during and after menopause, because most women are never told the full story. They're told to eat less, move more, stay consistent. And they do. They do all of that. But nobody explains why the rules seem to have changed overnight without anyone sending a memo. Here's what the research is increasingly showing us. When estrogen levels begin to decline, which happens gradually through perimenopause, and then more sharply during and after menopause, the body undergoes a series of metabolic shifts that go far beyond hot flashes and mood swings. One of the most significant and least talked about changes is what scientists call anabolic resistance. Anabolic resistance is essentially the body's reduced ability to build and maintain muscle tissue in response to protein and exercise. In younger women, the muscles are highly sensitive to the signals that tell them to grow and repair. But after menopause, those signals get quieter. The muscles become harder to stimulate. The same workout that used to produce results now produces fatigue without the reward. The same amount of protein that used to fuel recovery now gets processed differently, less efficiently, with less of it actually going toward muscle preservation. This is not a theory. This is observed consistently in clinical research looking at body composition changes in women across the menopausal transition. Studies have shown that women can lose significant amounts of lean muscle mass in the years surrounding menopause. And here is the devastating part. Even when they are actively exercising and eating what would normally be considered a healthy diet. So the woman staring at that mirror in the morning is not imagining things. She is not being dramatic. Her body is genuinely, physiologically harder to maintain right now, and no amount of willpower alone is going to override that biology. But there's more, because it's not just about estrogen and muscle sensitivity. There's another piece of this puzzle that most people never connect to body composition, and it may actually be the most important piece of all. Cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. And before you scroll past this thinking you've heard the stress lecture before, stay with me. Because what's happening with cortisol during menopause is something very specific and very different from everyday stress. Research published in the Journal of the North American Menopause Society found something striking. Cortisol levels in women tend to rise during the exact same window that estrogen and progesterone begin to fall. It's not a coincidence, it's biology. As the hormonal environment of the female body shifts, the stress response system becomes less regulated, more reactive, and chronically elevated in ways that have real consequences for body composition. Here is what elevated cortisol does to the female body during menopause. First, it accelerates muscle breakdown. Cortisol is catabolic by nature, meaning it breaks tissue down rather than building it up. When cortisol remains chronically elevated, it actively works against the muscle you're trying to preserve through training. So you're in the gym working to maintain your curves, while your own stress hormones are quietly dismantling them on the other side. Second, cortisol promotes fat storage, specifically in the abdominal area. Yale University research has shown a direct connection between elevated cortisol levels and increased visceral fat accumulation, even in otherwise lean women. This is the meno belly that seems to appear from nowhere, resistant to dieting, resistant to cardio, frustratingly stubborn in a way that feels almost personal. Third, elevated cortisol disrupts sleep, and disrupted sleep raises cortisol further, and higher cortisol disrupts sleep more. It becomes a cycle that feeds itself, draining energy, impairing recovery, clouding the mind, and making every healthy habit you try to maintain feel like pushing a boulder uphill. And here's the invisible part, the error that's happening daily without most women realizing it. Many of the habits that seem healthy are actually spiking cortisol in a body that's already struggling to regulate it. Intense fasted cardio first thing in the morning, very low-calorie diets, overtraining without adequate recovery, chronic undereating of protein. All of these things, done with the best intentions, can actually accelerate muscle loss and fat storage in a postmenopausal body because they push cortisol higher in a system that's already flooded with it. This is why the effort feels like it's working against you, because physiologically, in some ways, it is. If you've been nodding along to any of this, if something in these words is making you feel seen in a way you haven't felt in a while, I want you to know that there is a first link in the description of this video. It goes to a guide specifically created for women who are in menopause, who are training, who are doing everything they've been told to do, and who still can't get their body to respond the way they want. It breaks down the specific strategies that work for the postmenopausal metabolism, not the generic advice designed for a 25-year-old, but real, evidence-informed guidance for the body you actually have right now. Go check that out. The link is right there waiting for you. Now, let's talk about what actually works, because here is the hopeful part, and I want you to really hear this. Your body is not broken. It is not punishing you. It has not decided to stop cooperating out of spite. It has simply changed. And change, even profound change, can be worked with when you understand it. The first shift is rethinking what training should look like for a postmenopausal body. The research is increasingly clear on this. Strength training, real, progressive, resistance-based training, is the single most powerful tool a woman in menopause has for preserving muscle mass, improving body composition, and counteracting the effects of hormonal decline. Not light weights for high reps. Not endless cardio. Progressive overload, meaning gradually increasing the challenge over time so the muscles are forced to adapt, maintain, and grow. This matters because muscle tissue is metabolically active. Every pound of muscle you carry burns more calories at rest than a pound of fat. Muscle gives the body shape, definition, the firmness that makes clothes fit differently. And muscle, unlike fat, responds to training. It just needs the right kind of training to hear the signal in a postmenopausal body where the hormonal environment has made that signal quieter. Pair this with adequate protein intake, not moderate, not pretty good, but genuinely sufficient protein distributed throughout the day, and you begin to give the body the raw materials it needs to repair and preserve lean tissue, even in the context of anabolic resistance. Research suggests that postmenopausal women may need more protein per pound of body weight than younger women to achieve the same muscle-preserving effect. This is not optional, it is foundational. The second shift is cortisol management, not in a vague, go meditate way, though that helps, but specifically in terms of how you structure your training and recovery. This means not doing brutal fasted workouts at 6 in the morning on 3 hours of sleep and calling it discipline. It means building in real recovery days. It means prioritizing sleep like the physiological necessity it is. It means eating enough to fuel your training rather than using training as a punishment for eating. These are not soft suggestions. They are biological requirements for a body that is navigating one of the most significant hormonal transitions of its life. The third shift is hormonal support. And this is where the conversation gets interesting, because more and more research is pointing to the role that targeted nutritional compounds can play in supporting hormone balance during and after the menopausal transition. Certain adaptogens, plants and herbs that help regulate the body's stress response system, have been clinically studied for their ability to promote healthier cortisol levels. Ashwagandha, for example, has been the subject of multiple randomized controlled trials showing its ability to reduce cortisol and support energy, mood, sleep, and muscle function. Rhodiola rosea has been studied for its cortisol moderating effects and its impact on cognitive function and physical performance. Green tea extract has been shown in clinical research to support healthy cortisol metabolism while also promoting fat loss, particularly in postmenopausal women. On the estrogen and progesterone support side, compounds like sage leaf, red clover, and black cohosh have a substantial body of research behind them for their ability to support hormone balance and reduce the most disruptive symptoms of the menopausal transition: hot flashes, night sweats, sleep disruption, mood instability, joint discomfort. One product that has formulated these ingredients together in a way that addresses both cortisol regulation and hormonal support is MenoRescue by WellMe. It's not a magic solution. Nothing is. But it is a thoughtfully constructed formula built around the specific physiological needs of menopausal women, using research-backed ingredients at clinically studied dosages. If hormonal support through supplementation is something you're exploring, it's worth looking at. The details are available at the link in the description. Now let me paint you a picture of what the other side of this looks like. Imagine waking up in the morning and the sheets are dry. Your body temperature is normal. You slept through the night, actually slept, and you feel the difference in your body when you get up, a kind of readiness that you had forgotten was possible. You go to the gym, and for the first time in months, maybe years, the workout feels productive. Not just exhausting, productive. Like something is actually happening in the muscle, like the work is landing somewhere. You get dressed, and a pair of jeans that has been sitting in the back of the closet, the pair you kept because getting rid of them felt like giving up, slides on. Not all the way, not yet, but closer, noticeably closer. You look in the mirror, not to criticize, not to evaluate, but just to look. And something is different. Not dramatic, not overnight, but different. There's a firmness returning to your arms, a line reappearing along the side of your waist, a solidity in your legs that reminds you of a version of yourself you loved, and you feel something that has been missing for a long time. You feel like yourself. This is not a fantasy. This is what happens when a postmenopausal body gets the right support, the right training stimulus, the right nutritional foundation, the right hormonal environment. The body does not forget how to respond. It just needed a strategy that matched where it actually is, not where it used to be. There's a method that pulls all of this together. The training adjustments, the nutritional shifts, the hormonal support, specifically for women who are in this exact situation, who are training hard, eating carefully, trying everything they've been told, and still struggling to see the body respond. It's explained fully in the pinned comment below this video. If that sounds like you, that's where you need to go. Here is what I want you to leave this video knowing. The frustration you feel is real. The confusion is valid. The sense that your body has changed in ways that feel unfair. That's not in your head. The biology of the menopausal transition is real, and it is significant, and it deserves to be taken seriously. But so does this. The body is not done. It is not past the point of responding. It is not permanently locked into a shape you don't recognize. It has simply shifted into a new context, one that requires a new understanding and a new approach, but not an impossible one. Anabolic resistance can be worked around with the right training stimulus and protein strategy. Cortisol dysregulation can be addressed through recovery, lifestyle adjustment, and targeted nutritional support. Hormonal decline can be supported through evidence-based compounds that give the body what it needs to maintain balance. The curves you're trying to protect are not gone. The definition you're trying to recover is not lost. The version of yourself that felt strong and firm and present in her own body. She is not a memory. She is a possibility that is available to you right now with the right strategy. Your body hasn't given up on you. It just needs you to understand it a little differently than before. And now, you do.